So in your estimation, who's out there today that knows how to do this and is likely, I would hope, executing flawlessly?
I tell you, I really look at Target, and I think Target does and has done a fabulous job in terms of their acquisition strategy. I think they do a great job. I certainly think Amazon does a wonderful job in terms of acquisitions. I think Walmart does an excellent job in terms of acquisitions. And the reason why I call out those companies is this: they understand where they have gaps. And when they make an acquisition, it's to close the gap. Why did Walmart acquire Jet.com? Well, Walmart just wasn't happy with their e-commerce digital capability. And they acquired expertise, Mark Lore and his team. They acquired technology through the Jet.com platform. Then today, Walmart looks at India and says, we're really not competitive there. We need a better strategy. So that's why they're investing heavily to acquire a majority stake in Flipkart. So those are the companies that I think are doing very well. Amazon, I won't be surprised to see them make an additional acquisition. I'm on the record as stating I think Carrefour would be a great acquisition for Amazon to make in Europe. I actually think Walmart should have made a play. Just a few months ago, I wrote an article where I recommended that Walmart should divest Asda and make a play for Carrefour. Now, I don't see any movement on the part of Walmart going to Carrefour, and because now Walmart is actually looking to make an acquisition of Flipkart, I believe the best strategy for Walmart, in all honesty, is just to withdraw from Europe completely and put their focus on India, China, Mexico, and the United States. I think they should withdraw from Brazil as well. And so you could have a conversation like that with the executives at Walmart because, as you state, they get it. They can align to a strategy. Kroger is the company that continues to amaze me that they've yet to make an acquisition. And I believe there are several out there that they should make. And I'm on the record, and everyone knows this, I'm the person who recommended that Kroger go after boxed wholesale. And I'm also on the record as stating that Kroger should have gone after Overstock.com. Now, Kroger did make an attempt to acquire boxed wholesale, but they didn't bid anywhere near as high as I recommended. And I've yet to see Kroger make a play for Overstock, although I think that'd be a great fit for them. So I agree with everything that you said in terms of making acquisitions requires a strategy, but making acquisitions requires having an executive team with the courage and the vision to be able to make such a decision.
Perfect. You know, the one thing that's always frustrated me about being in this space is, you know, you're visiting a prospective client and you have a group that says to you, we're never going to be the first at this. And I have to ask, what's going to happen to those retailers that continue to say that?
They're going to close their doors or they're going to be acquired. If you look at the graphic that's used for this article, M&A activity, it's a big fish swallowing a small fish. And big fish grow big because they learn survival. They learn to understand where are they competing, where do they fit into the food chain, and they make wise decisions to get bigger, to survive. These companies that say, we're not going to be first at this, I can think of no worse attitude to have than that. I just can't imagine being someone who can look in the mirror and say, I really wouldn't want to be the first to climb Mount Everest, but you know what? If I was a second or third person, that would be okay. The glory goes to those individuals, to those companies who have the courage and who have the vision to do something big. And one of the tenets, one of the leadership principles at Amazon is think big. And another one is have backbone and commit. And that's what it takes. You have to have executives with a backbone and with vision. And for these boards of directors who sit in a room and they have a CEO who says, we don't really want to move first. We really want to sit back and wait and see what happens. I have advice for those boards of directors, and it's called firing that CEO.
Excellent. Now, from my perspective, when I look at some of the companies today that are not necessarily participating in, call it the flurry of activity that we're seeing in the space, right? Between Target, Walmart, and Amazon. I'm wondering, are those that are on the sidelines hoping in anticipating that these companies are going to trip up? Are they trying to learn from them? Are they eventually going to resurface and jockey for a position? Or maybe they're just hoping that they will deplete their cash position and not be able to execute. And I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on that.
So let's take a look at an example. If we look at Kroger, Kroger signed an agreement with Instacart. Kroger is leveraging several other third parties for grocery delivery. So Kroger didn't acquire Shipt, for example. And I actually made the recommendation in June of 2017 that either Target or Kroger should acquire Shipt. I thought Kroger absolutely should have gone after Shipt. They didn't. Kroger chose what I call the path of least resistance. And that's not a criticism of the executives at Kroger, but it wasn't the best decision in terms of a strategy. So I think what Kroger is doing is saying, let's tiptoe. Let's tiptoe in the waters. Let us have an ability to make deliveries for our customers, but let us not really be the company that goes out and creates our own capability by partnering with someone. And let us not be someone who says, well, we're going to go make an acquisition because we're not 100% sure what's this really going to do? How's this going to turn out in the end? I see Wegmans, I see Albertsons, I see other companies leveraging Instacart and leveraging other third parties to basically give them an ability to compete today. Now, that's today. That isn't a long-term strategy. So what I continue to see with these grocery retailers on the periphery is that they're doing just enough to keep the train moving forward. But I've yet to see any of them do anything where I look at it and say, yes, they're going to be here 5 years from now or 10 years from now. I still see that level of hesitation. And I can assure you that's just not how I would operate these grocery retailers. I just think they're doing the least possible thing they can do. And they're incredibly risk averse. And I just don't operate that way. And when you look at the successful retailers, the Amazons, the Targets, the Walmarts, and so forth, they go for it. They are not risk averse.
In my world, I've always seen that as this is the difference of doing acquisition strategy against a really well-crafted process to understand, well, strategically, we need to go here. Let's go get the talent and the expertise to do it versus us doing it on our own. Versus what you're so well explaining is bridging the gap at a tactical level. And let's just put a bunch of pieces of the puzzle together and hope it works. And at some point, someone's going to buy that piece of puzzle, and then we're going to be left with that gap again and have to make good on it. And that's very dangerous to try to run a business on this way. And this reminds me, in my years in the electronics industry, in my years in supporting the banking industry, that we've seen this not work out in the long run.
Oh, and I agree. One of the more popular articles I wrote for LinkedIn is called The Trojan Horse, Instacart's Covert Operation Against Grocery Retailers. And it was amazing to me, the feedback I received when I wrote that article. And my argument is this. Grocery retailers that signed an agreement with Instacart are doing nothing more than teaching Instacart their business, and they're giving Instacart access to their strengths and weaknesses. And if all Instacart wanted to do was maintain their business model and be happy delivering groceries, there's nothing wrong with that strategy. But I am convinced that Instacart absolutely is going to move into wholesale grocery distribution. I think Instacart is going to move into private label manufacturing. I think Instacart absolutely can open up their own stores. And as Instacart grows, their market increases and their valuation increases. They really look like a target for someone to acquire. So imagine someone, a third party, a private equity firm says, let's acquire Instacart and let's leverage all the strengths and weaknesses they know of the top grocery retailers in the United States and let us come to market with our own vision of grocery retailing. Now, right out of the gate, they're going to know, well, this is how you beat Kroger. This is how you beat Albertsons. This is how you beat this customer. This is how you beat that company. And so I really believe that grocery retailers need to bring these things in-house, or grocery retailers need to do a better job of choosing who they partner with. What you don't want to do is partner with someone who can learn your strengths and weaknesses and eventually use it against you.